O lago congelará no inverno.
The lake will freeze over in the winter. The lake will freeze over in the winter.
Eu acidentalmente congelei a sopa enquanto a esquentava.
I accidentally froze the soup while reheating it. I accidentally froze the soup while reheating it.
Você precisa congelar a massa antes de assá-la.
You need to freeze the dough before baking it. You need to freeze the dough before baking it.
A temperatura caiu tanto que os canos congelaram.
The temperature dropped so low that the pipes froze. The temperature dropped so low that the pipes froze.
Ele congelou no lugar quando ouviu o barulho alto.
He froze in place when he heard the loud noise. He froze in place when he heard the loud noise.
Não se esqueça de congelar os vegetais para uso posterior.
Don't forget to freeze the vegetables for later use. Don't forget to freeze the vegetables for later use.
Não acredito que a tela congelou durante a apresentação.
I can't believe the screen froze during the presentation. I can't believe the screen froze during the presentation.
Ela congelou quando viu a aranha enorme na parede.
She froze when she saw the huge spider on the wall. She froze when she saw the huge spider on the wall.
Eu sempre congelo minhas sobras de refeições para jantares futuros.
I always freeze my leftover meals for future dinners. I always freeze my leftover meals for future dinners.
Ele congelou por um momento sem saber o que fazer a seguir.
He froze a moment, unsure of what to do next. He froze a moment, unsure of what to do next.
O vento fez parecer que a água congelaria.
The wind made it feel like the water would freeze. The wind made it feel like the water would freeze.
Tive que congelar a conta para evitar mais cobranças.
I had to freeze the account to prevent further charges. I had to freeze the account to prevent further charges.
As crianças estavam com tanto frio que congelaram os dedos.
The kids were so cold that they froze their fingers. The kids were so cold that they froze their fingers.
Congelamos as frutas para fazer smoothies no verão.
We freeze the fruit to make smoothies in the summer. We freeze the fruit to make smoothies in the summer.
Eu acidentalmente congelei o arquivo e perdi todo o meu trabalho.
I accidentally froze the file and lost all my work. I accidentally froze the file and lost all my work.
O vento frio é tão forte que meu nariz parece que vai congelar.
The wind chill is so strong that my nose feels like it's going to freeze. The wind chill is so strong that my nose feels like it's going to freeze.
Ela congelou sua conta bancária após notar alguma atividade incomum.
She froze her bank account after noticing some unusual activity. She froze her bank account after noticing some unusual activity.
O motor do carro congelou durante a noite devido ao frio.
The car's engine froze overnight due to the cold. The car's engine froze overnight due to the cold.
Eu congelo as sobras depois de cada jantar em família.
I freeze the leftovers after every family dinner. I freeze the leftovers after every family dinner.
Quando ele ouviu a notícia, ele congelou em choque.
When he heard the news, he froze in shock. When he heard the news, he froze in shock.
Eu esqueci de congelar o frango ontem à noite, então ele estragou.
I forgot to freeze the chicken last night, so it went bad. I forgot to freeze the chicken last night, so it went bad.
A água do rio congelou durante a onda de frio.
The water in the river froze solid during the cold spell. The water in the river froze solid during the cold spell.
Os trabalhadores tiveram que congelar suas posições devido a preocupações com a segurança.
The workers had to freeze their positions due to the safety concerns. The workers had to freeze their positions due to the safety concerns.
Quando o sorvete derreteu, ele congelou novamente quando o coloquei de volta no freezer.
When the ice cream melted, it froze again once I put it back in the freezer. When the ice cream melted, it froze again once I put it back in the freezer.
Notei que a poça no quintal congelou durante a noite.
I noticed that the puddle in the yard froze overnight. I noticed that the puddle in the yard froze overnight.
As portas da geladeira velha congelaram devido ao gelo.
The doors of the old refrigerator froze shut from the frost. The doors of the old refrigerator froze shut from the frost.
Ela congelou quando percebeu que tinha perdido a carteira.
She froze when she realized she had lost her wallet. She froze when she realized she had lost her wallet.
A comida começou a congelar depois de ficar no frio por muito tempo.
The food started to freeze after being left in the cold for too long. The food started to freeze after being left in the cold for too long.
Não congele o leite, ele vai estragar.
Don't freeze the milk, it will spoil. Don't freeze the milk, it will spoil.
Suas mãos congelaram enquanto esperava do lado de fora na tempestade de neve.
His hands froze while waiting outside in the snowstorm. His hands froze while waiting outside in the snowstorm.
A câmera congelou quando eu estava prestes a tirar a foto.
The camera froze just as I was about to take the picture. The camera froze just as I was about to take the picture.
Preciso congelar o bolo antes de decorá-lo.
I need to freeze the cake before I can decorate it. I need to freeze the cake before I can decorate it.
O computador congelou bem antes de eu salvar meu trabalho.
The computer froze right before I was about to save my work. The computer froze right before I was about to save my work.
Ele congelou de medo quando o cachorro latiu alto.
He froze in fear when the dog barked loudly. He froze in fear when the dog barked loudly.
Vou congelar as sobras, para que possamos comê-las mais tarde.
I'll freeze the leftovers, so we can eat them later. I'll freeze the leftovers, so we can eat them later.
O lago estava tão frio que os peixes congelaram.
The lake was so cold that the fish froze. The lake was so cold that the fish froze.
Teremos que congelar os bens até que a investigação seja concluída.
We'll have to freeze the assets until the investigation is complete. We'll have to freeze the assets until the investigation is complete.
Ela congelou ao pensar em falar na frente de uma multidão tão grande.
She froze at the thought of speaking in front of such a large crowd. She froze at the thought of speaking in front of such a large crowd.
O gelo congelou o suficiente para as pessoas patinarem no lago.
The ice froze thick enough for people to skate on the pond. The ice froze thick enough for people to skate on the pond.
Você deve congelar o suco se não planeja bebê-lo em breve.
You should freeze the juice if you don't plan on drinking it soon. You should freeze the juice if you don't plan on drinking it soon.
Esqueci de congelar o bolo durante a noite, então tive que correr para decorá-lo.
I forgot to freeze the cake overnight, so I had to rush to decorate it. I forgot to freeze the cake overnight, so I had to rush to decorate it.
No momento em que ele percebeu o erro,
The moment he realized the mistake, he froze. The moment he realized the mistake, he froze.
ele congelou, o computador congelou e perdi todos os meus dados não salvos.
The computer froze and I lost all of my unsaved data. The computer froze and I lost all of my unsaved data.
Seu corpo congelou de medo quando viu o urso se aproximando.
His body froze with fear when he saw the bear approaching. His body froze with fear when he saw the bear approaching.
Vou congelar a carne até que esteja pronto para cozinhá-la.
I will freeze the meat until I'm ready to cook it. I will freeze the meat until I'm ready to cook it.
O vento estava tão frio que a umidade do ar começou a congelar.
The wind was so cold that the moisture in the air began to freeze. The wind was so cold that the moisture in the air began to freeze.
As crianças estavam brincando na neve e seus dedos começaram a congelar.
The kids were playing outside in the snow, and their fingers started to freeze. The kids were playing outside in the snow, and their fingers started to freeze.
Eles me disseram para congelar o processo até termos mais informações.
They told me to freeze the process until we have more information. They told me to freeze the process until we have more information.
O lago estava congelado quando voltamos para a cabana.
The lake had frozen solid by the time we returned to the cabin. The lake had frozen solid by the time we returned to the cabin.
Ela congelou as sobras e as usou no jantar da semana seguinte.
She froze the leftovers and used them for dinner the next week. She froze the leftovers and used them for dinner the next week.
Eu acidentalmente congelei o download enquanto estava trabalhando em outra coisa.
I accidentally froze the download while I was working on something else. I accidentally froze the download while I was working on something else.
Ele congelou, incapaz de pensar no que dizer em seguida.
He froze, unable to think of what to say next. He froze, unable to think of what to say next.
O chão congelou tanto que era impossível cavar.
The ground froze so hard that it was impossible to dig. The ground froze so hard that it was impossible to dig.
Preciso congelar as sobras antes que estraguem.
I need to freeze the leftovers before they go bad. I need to freeze the leftovers before they go bad.
A bateria congelou no tempo frio e o carro não ligou.
The battery froze in the cold weather, and the car wouldn't start. The battery froze in the cold weather, and the car wouldn't start.
Congelei as frutas logo depois de colhê-las para que durassem mais.
I froze the berries right after picking them so they would last longer. I froze the berries right after picking them so they would last longer.
O vento fez o ar parecer que poderia congelar sua pele.
The wind made the air feel like it could freeze your skin. The wind made the air feel like it could freeze your skin.
Ficamos presos na tempestade de neve e nosso carro congelou na neve.
We were stuck in the snowstorm, and our car froze in the snow. We were stuck in the snowstorm, and our car froze in the snow.
Congelei meu telefone quando tentei abrir muitos aplicativos ao mesmo tempo.
I froze my phone when I tried to open too many apps at once. I froze my phone when I tried to open too many apps at once.
Os canos de água congelaram durante a noite por causa do frio extremo.
The water pipes froze during the night because of the extreme cold. The water pipes froze during the night because of the extreme cold.
Ele congelou quando viu o presente surpresa que seu amigo lhe deu.
He froze when he saw the surprise gift his friend gave him. He froze when he saw the surprise gift his friend gave him.
Ela congelou as plantas para preservá-las para uso posterior.
She froze the plants to preserve them for later use. She froze the plants to preserve them for later use.
Ele teve que congelar as negociações até que a equipe pudesse se reunir novamente.
He had to freeze the negotiations until the team could meet again. He had to freeze the negotiations until the team could meet again.
Congela o caldo depois de prepará-lo para uma sopa futura.
I'll freeze the broth after making it for a future soup. I'll freeze the broth after making it for a future soup.
Congelo a carne em pequenas porções para facilitar o preparo das refeições.
I froze the meat in small portions for easy meal prep. I froze the meat in small portions for easy meal prep.
O freezer é tão frio que pode congelar sua comida instantaneamente.
The freezer is so cold that it can freeze your food instantly. The freezer is so cold that it can freeze your food instantly.
Tivemos que congelar nosso plano depois de receber novas instruções.
We had to freeze our plan after receiving new instructions. We had to freeze our plan after receiving new instructions.
Congelei quando o telefone tocou inesperadamente no meio da noite.
I froze when the phone rang unexpectedly in the middle of the night. I froze when the phone rang unexpectedly in the middle of the night.
Os biscoitos estavam assados, mas congelei para mantê-los frescos.
The cookies were baked, but I froze them to keep them fresh. The cookies were baked, but I froze them to keep them fresh.
Seu sorriso congelou quando viu o visitante inesperado.
His smile froze when he saw the unexpected visitor. His smile froze when he saw the unexpected visitor.
Preciso congelar os vegetais antes que estraguem.
I need to freeze the vegetables before they spoil. I need to freeze the vegetables before they spoil.
A máquina congelou durante o processo e tivemos que reiniciá-la.
The machine froze during the process, and we had to restart it. The machine froze during the process, and we had to restart it.
A tempestade de neve fez com que a energia congelasse por horas.
The snowstorm caused the power to freeze for hours. The snowstorm caused the power to freeze for hours.
Congelo as frutas que estão prestes a vencer para evitar desperdício.
I'll freeze the fruits that are about to expire to prevent waste. I'll freeze the fruits that are about to expire to prevent waste.
Quando ela viu a surpresa, congelou e não conseguiu se mover.
When she saw the surprise, she froze and couldn't move. When she saw the surprise, she froze and couldn't move.
A água da piscina começou a congelar por causa das baixas temperaturas.
The water in the swimming pool started to freeze because of the cold temperatures. The water in the swimming pool started to freeze because of the cold temperatures.
O tempo estava tão frio que até os peixes do lago congelaram.
The weather was so cold that even the fish in the lake froze. The weather was so cold that even the fish in the lake froze.
Ele congelou enquanto pensava em qual deveria ser seu próximo passo.
He froze while thinking about what his next move should be. He froze while thinking about what his next move should be.
Precisamos congelar a carne para que não estrague antes de cozinhá-la.
We need to freeze the meat so it doesn't spoil before we cook it. We need to freeze the meat so it doesn't spoil before we cook it.
Eu congelei a tela enquanto tentava tirar uma captura de tela.
I froze the screen while trying to take a screenshot. I froze the screen while trying to take a screenshot.
O tempo frio fez meus dedos congelarem mesmo com luvas.
The cold weather caused my fingers to freeze even with gloves on. The cold weather caused my fingers to freeze even with gloves on.
As crianças ficaram tão animadas que congelaram no meio da ação quando viram a neve.
The kids were so excited they froze mid-action when they saw the snow. The kids were so excited they froze mid-action when they saw the snow.
O computador congelou e eu não conseguia acessar meus arquivos.
The computer froze, and I couldn't access my files. The computer froze, and I couldn't access my files.
Ela congelou sorvete para que fosse mais fácil servir depois.
She froze the ice cream so it would be easier to serve later. She froze the ice cream so it would be easier to serve later.
Eles congelaram o negócio quando encontraram um problema potencial.
They froze the deal when they found a potential issue. They froze the deal when they found a potential issue.
O gelo na estrada era tão grosso que parecia congelar qualquer pneu de carro no lugar.
The ice on the road was so thick that it seemed to freeze any car tires in place. The ice on the road was so thick that it seemed to freeze any car tires in place.
Preciso congelar as sobras para que não estraguem.
I need to freeze the leftovers so they don't go bad. I need to freeze the leftovers so they don't go bad.
No momento em que ouvi as boas notícias, congelei de surpresa.
The moment I heard the good news, I froze in surprise. The moment I heard the good news, I froze in surprise.
Ele congelou no momento em que ouviu seu nome sendo chamado.
He froze the moment he heard his name being called. He froze the moment he heard his name being called.
Ela congelou seu cartão bancário após notar transações incomuns.
She froze her bank card after noticing unusual transactions. She froze her bank card after noticing unusual transactions.
A tela congelou quando eu estava prestes a fazer uma ligação importante.
The screen froze just as I was about to make an important call. The screen froze just as I was about to make an important call.
O chão congelou rapidamente após a queda repentina de temperatura.
The ground froze quickly after the sudden drop in temperature. The ground froze quickly after the sudden drop in temperature.
Seu olhar congelou quando viu o acidente se desenrolar.
His gaze froze when he saw the accident unfold. His gaze froze when he saw the accident unfold.
A chuva se transformou em gelo e congelou as ruas em minutos.
The rain turned into ice and froze the streets within minutes. The rain turned into ice and froze the streets within minutes.
No momento em que ouviram o trovão, elas congelaram no lugar.
The moment they heard the thunder, they froze in place. The moment they heard the thunder, they froze in place.
Tive que congelar todo o sistema para evitar mais danos.
I had to freeze the entire system to prevent further damage. I had to freeze the entire system to prevent further damage.
As temperaturas congelantes fizeram o para-brisa do carro congelar.
The freezing temperatures made the car's windshield freeze over. The freezing temperatures made the car's windshield freeze over.
Ele teve que congelar o projeto devido a circunstâncias imprevistas.
He had to freeze the project due to unforeseen circumstances. He had to freeze the project due to unforeseen circumstances.
Congelei a tela para mostrar a todos a imagem da qual estava falando.
I froze the screen to show everyone the picture I was talking about. I froze the screen to show everyone the picture I was talking about.
Os peixes congelaram na água gelada conforme a temperatura caía.
The fish froze in the icy water as the temperature dropped. The fish froze in the icy water as the temperature dropped.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and stay tuned for the upcoming episodes to keep improving your English. And remember, listening, practice, and improve.